Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be talking about the season finale of Skeleton Crew, The Real Good Guys. Before I get started on my review, this will include some spoilers for the episode. So if you haven't watched it yet, please go watch the episode first and then come back and watch my review. And with that warning out of the way, let's talk about the season finale of Skeleton Crew. So I think it'll be hard to talk about the season finale and give my review for that without really giving my review for the entire series. So I'll do a little bit of both. I'm not going to give a full breakdown on my thoughts on the series overall. I might do a later video about that. But in general, I'll kind of give my opinion of both. After the finale, I think I would have to say I thought the finale was good, not great. But I really love the series overall. So I really probably have a more positive feeling about the overall series than I do about the season finale. There was nothing I really hated about the finale. Nothing I really thought was bad or anything like that. But there were some elements maybe that I was hoping for that didn't quite happen, or some ways that certain things were handled in the episode that I was all, oh, that's good, but not necessarily great, or not quite as satisfying as I was hoping for. So, like I said, not my favorite finale that they've done in Star Wars for the various series, but overall, I have a very high opinion of this series. I think I need to do a rewatch before I give my really proper series rating and how I compare it to the other series. But it is up there. It's definitely one of my favorites. I really overall enjoyed Skeleton Crew a lot. As for the specific episode, at the beginning we get John still trying to pretend that he is an emissary from the public / Jedi to get the parents to kind of help cooperate and make things run as smoothly as possible as he's trying to plunder at Adam. So the first big reveal we get is who the supervisor has been. And I think some people have speculated, as one theory I had, that it might be a droid. I think this makes sense. I think the one thing I was surprised when this was revealed is that the adults on the planet, I don't know if all the adults on the planet were aware, or just Fern's mom was aware, and maybe some other high-ranking officials, since she did have a high-ranking position, or if it's just well-known amongst adults that the planet is actually overseen by a droid. A droid basically serves as the supervisor for the planet. This, I think, makes sense overall in the series, but I think of a lot of the theories that people are bouncing around, it's probably the one I found the less satisfying. I think if the adults actually thought like there was actually a real live being running the planet and not a droid, so we could almost leaned into like the Wizard of Oz style things, where don't pay, look at this hologram over here, where in reality somebody else is running it from behind the scenes type of thing. So I think I probably would have enjoyed that a little bit more. Like I said, it makes complete sense, but like I said, it wasn't quite as satisfying as I was hoping for. I think a lot of people, including myself, was saying, like, maybe it's that legendary pirate. Maybe he's from a long-living species and he actually survived. As the series went on, I was beginning to think that was less likely. The only reason I think I kind of thought maybe it was the fact that they didn't show his face in that hologram earlier in the season. I thought, well, maybe they're purposely hiding it, so when the big reveal happens, he can kind of pretend, and we don't know immediately he was the pirate until some more info is dropped. That did not turn out to be the case. I think the one element with the supervisor droid that I did find interesting was that clearly the droid had been receiving messages from the Republic when it was falling. So he mentions the last message he received is like, all Jedis are traitors. So basically he received Order 66. But the way he phrased it almost made it sound like he didn't get messages after that. So I guess the one part I'm confused about, and maybe we'll find out more, I think this is something we're more likely to find out in like a book or a comic book or something like that, than even if they do another season of this show, is why did Palpatine and the Empire know about At-At? You would think the Chancellor of the Republic would know where the mint was for the Old Republic, and maybe he knew, and he was holding on to that in case he ever needed the money. But it seemed like the Empire definitely always could use some gold. So if they knew there was this treasure planet, why did Palpatine go and take that over? So that's the only element I was slightly confused about. I think it would maybe made more sense if there'd been maybe a line from the droid or something like that. Then like when I was monitoring radio traffic, I heard the Republic fell and the Empire took over. So I, sent out messages basically, saying Anne had fallen or wiped our records from the database or something like that, and hid the planet from the Empire or something like that. A little line kind of explaining why the Empire didn't show up. Like I said, I have a feeling we'll learn something about that in a book or comic in the future, maybe in a season 2 of Skeleton Crew. But with that out of the way, the rest of the episode really evolves around the kids with the parents' assistance of trying to figure out a way to get a message to the Republic to get help, and basically then also try to get the barrier down so when the Republic does show up, they can basically drive the pirates off. So you get a kind of a cat and mouse game with the kids and Jod. I guess if I had one small complaint about this, again, I thought it was good, not great, is that the bulk of the action with the kids, really with Jod, was all in this one room with, the supervisor's room, basically. So, I kind of enjoyed more, for example, the episode where we're underneath the spa and you're going through the hidden caverns and there's booby traps and stuff like that. A little bit more action to it. Where this one is, they're all mainly in one spot and they're just kind of talking back and forth, and occasionally one of the kids or adults makes a move. Jod uses the Force or his lightsaber to scare him off, and they try to figure out a new way to kind of trick Jod into them able to get a message to the Republic or lower the barricade so the Republic can actually get through. So I wouldn't mind a little bit more of action. Maybe they got out of that room and maybe we're having to chase him around or something like that. Instead of being so static. I guess that was a small complaint I had. But the part that I did like, you got some really good dialogue between the characters. Jude Law was amazing. I mean, all the performers were amazing, but like Jude Law is just such an amazing actor. Anytime he gets such a chance to chew the scenery like he did in this episode, it's absolutely amazing. We did get a nice little lore drop about his character, which seems like he was found as a kid by a Jedi fleeing Order 66. That's the way it seemed like he was implying. So he was with this Jedi for a little bit, got a little bit of training that the Jedi probably sensed that this kid had Force powers. Is like, all right, I'm on the run, I'm going to try to help this kid out. But very quickly, this Jedi was tracked down and killed. I'm guessing probably by Inquisitors. It might have just been by Stormtroopers or something like that. So it'll be interesting in the future. And again, I think this could be a very cool comic book if they do a comic book about Jod, figuring out, like, is this a Jedi we know, or is it some just random Jedi? Like, that could be a little interesting comic book series as we explore the various names that Jod has assumed over his life, as many adventures as a pirate, and more of his background as a kid, and this Jedi that found him, and kind of taught him a little bit about the Force. So when we get the New Republic showing up, I was surprised. It just wasn't a couple X-Wings. We get so many ships showing up. So apparently they took this as seriously, like, oh, what, you mean, Atton's real and there's power stuff? Let's go get it. So a lot of X-Wings show up. Eventually we also have some bigger ships show up as well. The pirates are routed fairly easily. That part was really cool. I guess the one thing when that happened, I was like, oh, are we going to see a character from one of the other Mandoverse shows show up here that we're going to be super familiar with that will help connect this a little bit more with the other shows? And we didn't really get that. So in some ways I like that because it kind of felt like Skeleton Crew was its own thing. It didn't feel like it was so connected with other stuff that it kind of kept us guessing on what would happen and stuff like that. But at the same time, I know this is supposed to be about connected with the Mandoverse. We also had the one pirate character who had crossed over from the Mandalorian. So I was kind of surprised after the first season's wrapped up that we didn't get more connections at some point, even if it's just one random character showing up, maybe on the Republic side or the good guy side, instead of that one random small pirate character who kind of ties the shows together. So I have a feeling if they do a second season, then maybe we'll try to connect it more with the wider Mandoverse shows. But, I found that interesting that they didn't do a bigger connection. The ending at the school when the kids you reunite and they find KB and she's fine, and 33 has been reactivated by KB, and it's still, his head's not attached, but he's holding his head, but he's walking around, which I thought was a really cool visual. And so we get this happy reunion. And the thing that probably surprised me most about the episode, then it just ended. I noticed when this show started, it was 40 minutes. 40 minutes, I was kind of surprised. Sometimes for the season finales, they almost be like a double episode, like almost a 1 hour thing. But 40 minutes, that's pretty good. That should be enough. But I wasn't really keeping track of how long the episode had been going when it was beginning to wrap up. So when the kids reunited and you have Wim staring in the sky watching the New Republic ships end, and then the episode just ends, that really caught me off guard. I was expecting to have some sort of scene with like the New Republic officials starting to land on the planet and connecting with the adults and the civilians, and you get some chatter like what's going on, stuff like that. Like, oh, we didn't even know you existed. Just little stuff like that. Maybe connecting them to what the wider Star Wars galaxy, you know, maybe some storyline like, oh, we have to quickly put up planetary defenses, you know, we can't let the First Order take this planet or know about these resources, something like that. So I was expecting a little bit more of a, again, connecting this show a little bit more to the wider Star Wars storyline, and I was very surprised it just suddenly ended. Now, the part of that that I liked is if this show only got one season, I felt like that's good because they didn't leave any cliffhangers or anything like that. Because I felt like if you did another scene there trying to connect it to a next storyline and then you didn't get another season, it might have been unsatisfactory. But I think the show is going to get another season, or they're going to really involve the events of the Skeleton Crew in other shows, or possibly a movie at some point. So then it just kind of feels like this is a very sudden ending. And I guess the one positive of that, it gives them a lot of possibilities of what they would like to do with season 2. They haven't really boxed themselves in and having to go down a certain path based on how they ended the season. Now it gives them a chance to maybe sit back, see what people liked about the show, maybe see what people didn't connect with this as much. I think overall the series was very positively received. But like all things, there's things people enjoy a little bit more, things people enjoy a little bit less. You can feel like, all right, this is what people really connect with the Skeleton Crew. So now we have a better idea of where we would like to take season 2. I'm sure they already have a general idea in their mind, like if we get a season 2, this is what we'd like to do. But based on, you know, audience feedback, they definitely can maybe tweak it a little bit. All right, this is what people really like to connect with. Let's go this direction a little bit. The way we wanted to go, but let's just tweak it a little bit. So I guess I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we do get a season 2, because I really did love this series a lot. This first season was amazing. Really enjoyed it. Loved all the characters. Loved the world they set up. It was just a very fun story. I think this, honestly, if I was like in middle school when I was becoming a Star Wars fan and a show like this had came out, this would probably become my favorite Star Wars thing ever. So I'm very jealous of kids that are getting to really branch into their love of Star Wars by being introduced to the wider Star Wars galaxy through Skeleton Crew. But I'm also very thankful that this show is set up such a way that adults who have been Star Wars fans their entire life can also really get into it and really enjoy it a lot. So I really love Skeleton Crew. I'm hoping we get some more Skeleton Crew TV. Maybe we'll get some Skeleton Crew books or comics and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Skeleton Crew Season 1 and the finale. Finale good, series great. So let me know in the comment section below, what was your overall thoughts on the finale? Were there things that you were hoping would happen that didn't? And what were your overall thoughts on the series in general? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this review, please hit the like button. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate the support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.